You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Mother's Day is around the corner. Find the perfect gift for the mom in your life with a stunning piece of jewelry from Blue Nile. From timeless pearls to dazzling gemstones, Blue Nile has something she'll adore. Need it fast? Most items can ship overnight. Plus, enjoy guaranteed free shipping and returns. Don't miss our special Mother's Day deals. Save big on the season's most beautiful trends. For a limited time, get up to 50% off by going to BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
Now's a good time to remember where the story of tequila started. In 1795, the first tequila distillery was opened by the Cuervo family. And 229 years later, Cuervo is still going strong. Family owned from the start, same family, same land. Now's a good time to enjoy Cuervo, the tequila that invented tequila. Go to Cuervo.com to shop tequila or visit a store near you. Cuervo, now's a good time. Trademarks owned by Becle, SAB de CV. Copyright 2024. Proximo. Jersey City, New Jersey. Please drink responsibly.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
I have denied, and Stugotz and WFAT have denied Zaslow, Roy, and Chris Cody their rightful earned place to celebrate some 6-1 victory over the Boston Bruins. I will welcome in Rohan Nadkarni, formerly of Sports Illustrated, who's now doing for GQ Sports the Jimmy Butler article from the weekend at the Miami Grand Prix with some quotes about him loving Miami and wanting to stay in Miami. We will get to him in a second. But go ahead, Chris and Zaslow and Roy. The floor is yours after Juan Pierre banged the drum last night.
JP.
And then your team, blows out the Bruins in what was a desperate, important game and looks more like the team you've seen all year because they're annoying and gritty and everyone else.
We're just better than them.
Everyone else in hockey hates the Panthers because of how they play.
We're just better than them. Last night was literally how the Panthers have played the entire season. Like, I didn't recognize that team from game one. Our defense was terrible. And even last night when we were down 1-0, and I'm a disaster during Panther playoff games. I am. I'm on the verge of vomit the entire 60 minutes. But even after the first period yesterday, we're down 1-0, I'm like, we totally outplayed them. I feel totally fine. We're going to be fine. And then we kicked their ass. Like, last night was so much closer to, I believe, what this series is going to look like. I don't think it's a long series. I think we're going to win both games in Boston, and we're going to finish this thing out in Game 5 in Sunrise. Madison Square Garden. How about Amerant Bank Arena? Did you see last night?
Popping.
Well, the best thing that Paul Maurice could have done was change the lineups in the second period, putting the lines in the blender, because that lineup that he put out there in
Get back
game
to
one,
what works.
Bread and butter.
Come on.
He
Get back to what works.
He tried to change it up the first game in this series.
Yeah, it didn't work. He said that that lineup came out at the end of Game 5 of the first round, and it worked then. It did not work for 4 periods during this series.
And we still have Bennett and Lomberg in the holster.
Bennett's going to be back one of these games.
Didn't you trade Barkhoff the last time you were in the studio?
Don't worry about that.
A year ago.
Don't worry about that.
That was then.
Yeah. I repented. I was sitting in this seat a year ago. I've been very honest and upfront about that. Right. Look, sports talk shows, they love being right. Most of them like being right at the expense of their team suffering because they want to be right. I'd rather be wrong, and I was dead wrong, and my team ends up benefiting from it. I'm very sorry, Sasha. I love you so much. I love Sergei Bobrovsky. I told him to get the hell out of my city, and I also called Paul Maurice the murderer of fun. I've never had more fun in my life.
1 year ago you did this.
That's right.
The murderer of fun. Put it on the poll, please. That Le Batard Show. Is Paul Maurice the murderer of fun?
He's not, though. He's not.
Everybody was wrong about that last season.
I'm okay with being wrong. I'm okay with being wrong.
Can we put that on the poll? Are you okay with being wrong? No one is.
Not a strength for sports opining.
Definitely not. I think Witty's take on the Panthers was still worse, though, right?
Oh,
yeah,
Kachuk with his empty stats? Get the hell out of here.
The man's a 100-point scorer every single season. He said that was the worst trade in Panthers history.
Best. I love him so much. You see, like, the camera was on him, and he's talking to the other bench there. And Pasternak, oh, please, coach, can I please fight? Can I fight Matthew Kachuk? I already told you what Pasternak can do if he wants to fight
Huberdeau
somebody.
would never.
But Kachuk, oh my, and Kachuk doesn't fight.
Why are
He'll
you
fight.
threatening to fight hockey players? Like,
I'll fight him too.
Because we're in the mix here.
Yeah.
We're in this thing.
What's the matter with you?
Sounds like me and Sidney Crosby.
Oh, God, Roy. Don't bring Sidney Crosby. Chris came in very confident today. In fact, so confident that when he said hi to Mad Dog,
we don't have to do this.
It was
Look, I have
the oddest hello in the history of hellos.
I have struggled with a lot of things, if we're being honest, but I've struggled to the greeting of guests before they go on air. I have not perfected yet because you want to sound natural, you want to sound relaxed.
So this was natural for you?
Well, I asked Video to get this for me because of how awkward it seemed right before we went on the air, and I wish we had started this way. Let's listen to the host, really just welcoming you into our home, Chris Cody.
What's up, Doggy? I don't know where
the Yellowstone.
What's
that?
Next time we have him on, you just have to say, Doggy! That's
What's
it.
up, Doggy?
Yeah.
He sounds like
Doggy
John
on a
Wayne.
Thursday. That's
Or
it.
just hello, how you doing?
Am I a robot?
No, never hello, how you doing.
Roy's got it. It's John Wayne. There's definitely some moseying going on as you approach Doggy.
What's up, Doggy? What's up, Doggy? God, I cannot listen to that.
I want you guys to imagine in an Old West saloon, Chris Russo is at the piano as Chris Cody walks in.
What's up, Doggy?
Got a toothpick in his mouth.
He's wearing boots. There's sawdust on the floor.
Followed it up by asking for a whiskey.
What's up, Doggy? All right, we can stop.
It sounds like there should be like a little banjo playing.
What's up, Doggy?
Juan Pierre last night bangs the drum, a 90s Marlin. Look at the smile on Roy's face, gets the crowd fired up.
And he was great at it.
Yeah, good
I've
cadence,
criticized others. You know, Marino was terrible at it last season, but JP brought it.
Juan Pierre's a guy that will make you smile every time you see him, right?
I don't smiling.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju.
All my lips.
Does Juan Pierre make all your lips smile when he appears? Can we just analyze for a second? I believe making this a little more macro for the audience. Let's just say, hypothetically, that they're not paying attention to any Panthers hockey.
What idiots.
They're paying attention to hockey in general, and they know that over the last 2 years, Boston was better last year as a 1 seed, and then in a 7-game series, Florida beats them as an 8 seed. Then they play 5 times this season, and Boston wins every time. And then you get to a place where the first game is 5-1, and the second game is 6-1, and you're saying Florida's just the better team.
Yep.
Okay, I understand that you're saying that they are.
One more point this year.
And that you guys believe that they are. That's correct. Over the regular season, they had one more point than the Bruins, and the Bruins beat them all 5 times they played this year. So
Twice in overtime.
If I put any
3-0-2.
playoff series in front of you that you're not paying attention to, and I say to you, one of the games went 5-1 this way, and the other one went 6-1 this way, and then the homers appeared and said the second game was the more representative one. The first one doesn't count at all. It doesn't matter. The second game is truer. You guys would dismiss that person saying you're ignorant. You haven't been watching this team all year.
Yeah, but what I would say also is the Panthers were off for a week before that game 1. The Panthers also played their worst defensive game that maybe I've seen this year. Aaron Ekblad probably had the worst game of his career. And so if I'm going to weigh the 2 games, the way that we played last night was so much closer to what we've looked like the entire season. That game 1 is not at all what we've looked like the entire season. And matter of fact, you go to the entire first-round series for Boston against Toronto, I mean, they couldn't score against Toronto. And all I'm hearing going into the game last night is how Swayman this, Swayman that, riding a hot goalie. Brickwall ran his ass early in the third period. All this talk about Swayman and the Panthers can't solve him, and he hasn't given up more than 2 goals in a game this postseason. Now, we got a goalie situation in Boston. Now we got a problem. I'm sorry. The Panthers are in control right now. You know what? I'm not sorry. Panthers are in control right now.
How do we feel about the FU Boston chants going in the arena? I don't know. It felt a little mean to me.
It's fine.
I don't like it.
It's fine.
Crass?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't saying FU. We were saying the word, Dan. And there's children there. I don't know. I didn't like it.
They were doing the same thing in Madison Square Garden last night.
Yes, they were.
I didn't like that either.
There weren't any kids there, though.
So you think it's too coarse, that we don't need...
I was just in it. I'm like, look, we're up 6-1. Like Zaz says, I think this is going to be... I don't think we're going to struggle in this series too much. It just felt a little beneath us.
So there was fighting going on the ice. You were upset about the words.
That's right.
Well, we're used to that, though. We're used to the fighting on the
Did
ends.
you apologize and take it back 1 second later?
Yeah, really stupid to apologize for that because I wasn't sorry at all.
I'm not going to apologize for that.
You're finding you're very you're amped up. You're emotional.
I love it. It's my drugs. These playoff games, Dan, are my drug. I'm a fiend for it. The anxiety I feel during these games. I'm on drugs. I want to be high all the time.
You're crazed, and you came in here a great deal hotter in volume than you did the last time that you were here. It's clear that playoff hockey is sort of soaked into everything
that
that
you
you
traded
are.
away a year ago. Yeah.
Yo, but I already told you. Enough bringing that up. I already told you I was wrong, and I'm glad that I was wrong about it. I repented for that. I was wrong. Stop bringing it up. It's enough already.
Let me see the Jalen Ramsey video last night, because this is always a cool thing that happens locally when all the sports teams start gathering around because they want to be near some of the action that's heightened stakes. Let's see Jalen Ramsey last night at the Panther game. What is second place to coolest sound in sports than a prolonged goal horn at home? Like, what finishes in second place to a sound that will move you and will escalate however it is that you're already feeling about your team?
Crack of a bat for a home run.
A long horn followed by Mamba number 5. Oh, what a night.
Stugotz here for my friends over at Simply Safe. When you travel, do concerns back home nag you? Did you lock up? Did you leave a window open? That's why I recommend investing in Simply Safe Home Security today for award-winning security and peace of mind wherever your summer plans take you. I've had Simply Safe in my home for many years now. The peace of mind it gives me, especially during the summertime when I'm all over the place, is incredible. Because I know the things I care about, the things I value back home. I can always keep an eye on it using Simply Safe's indoor and outdoor cameras. So do me a favor. Before you head out on your next vacation, make sure to protect your whole home with Simply Safe's variety of indoor and outdoor cameras, plus add sensors to detect break-ins, fires, floods, and more. It's backed by 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day, no contracts to worry about, and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Simply Safe has given me and many of my listeners real peace of mind. I want you to have it too. So right now, get 20% off any new Simply Safe system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Dan Batard.
Our Panther group chat, we're confident against the Lightning. This is a different team.
Yeah. You're a Panther group chat, though.
No, I think no, but dude, you're so wrong on that. We've been terrified of this team forever, and I think there's a different energy where the Panthers, they want the Lightning.
Stugotz.
I want T-shirts made for this Panther run. What could be this Panther run? Our Panther group chat, we're not afraid of the Lightning.
That's a tagline for World War 3.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Rohan, you've been very patient back there.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for writing the article in GQ Sports about Jimmy Butler. Welcome to the show. What is the synopsis for people who no longer read?
Drank some coffee with Jimmy Butler. He was really enjoying himself.
How is the coffee?
I think it's great. Shout out to his personal barista Rodney. That guy's whipping up some great coffee.
Talking about Rodney.
How many did you drink?
I had 3 coffees totaling 6 shots of espresso before lunch. I was sweating, truly sweating my ass off the entire time. Jimmy Butler was like at 8 cappuccinos though before noon, which was truly absurd.
Woof.
He just drank a lot of coffee. I got to follow him around, hang out with him at F1, and then at the very end, just asked him a little bit about his basketball career.
Just a little bit, though.
Just a little bit.
And that was after he roasted you for being sweaty.
Yes, that's after the first thing he did when he saw me was, "Why are you sweating like that?" Before even like shaking my hand or anything, he's like, "Why are you sweating like that?"
And why were you?
Listen, I don't get chauffeured in golf carts from my car to the paddock area. You know, I don't get the the Jimmy Butler treatment.
You were roughing it like a journalist.
Exactly.
Out there.
You know,
That's not true because I actually was walking through the paddock and I saw Jimmy Butler and I was like, oh, it's Jimmy Butler. And then right next to him is Rohan. And I was like, Ro, what's up? And he gave me a hug and was like, hey, good to see you. I got to go. Big time. He didn't even introduce me to Jimmy. Kept walking
Sweaty
with
hug?
Jimmy.
A sweaty hug?
It was a little sweaty. But
I have an image to maintain. You know, I
had no time
I don't want to
for
be
me.
seen mingling with the normal media folk.
With our show.
Yeah, exactly.
Rodney.
There it is. He's got his personal barista.
Yes, Rodney's there working in the Big Face coffee truck, which was on site in the VIP area of this F1 race. So Jimmy went there to hang out. Oh God! Can we go back to what's up, Doggy, instead of Rodney?
So he wants to stay in Miami.
What's up, Doggy?
Towards the end of the day, I asked Jimmy. I said, "Is the plan still to retire in a Miami Heat jersey?" You know, I did a story with him before the season. That's what he said. I said, "Is that still the plan?" And he said, "Yes, for sure." You know, no. That's no equivocation, right? That's not with equivocation. That's, unequivocally said, yes, for sure. I want to stay in Miami. And then went on to say that, you know, he loves Miami. He feels like the city's embraced him. The team's embraced him. And that, you know, his motivation is to bring a championship back to the city.
What's up, Rodney?
Anything else that you took from this because you were spending the weekend with him before Pat Riley says, if you're not playing, how about you shut your mouth?
Yes. I mean, I think what I took away, you know, in addition to the basketball stuff, is how much he seems comfortable. You know, you see a lot of famous people milling around that paddock at the F1 races, and they're all in their little bubbles, kind of moving from VIP area to VIP area as quickly as possible, whereas Jimmy's like stopping with people. They're asking about basketball. They're asking about coffee. He's stopping to take photos. He's goofing around a lot. I think he seems very comfortable in that environment.
Rodney.
And you think what of what happened with Pat Riley? I don't imagine that lands particularly well.
I'm sure it's not fun. I think what I make of it is that there's a lot of frustration. I think there's a lot of frustration, obviously from the organization about how the season ended and just how the season went. You know, the Heat, we don't have to get too nerdy about it, but they're like one of 3 or 4 teams all year that only had 2 lineups that played over 100 minutes together. I think it was an incredibly frustrating season for everyone involved, and I think Jimmy Butler likely feels the same way. You know, he wanted to be out there in the first round. I know the comments he made a stir, but, you know, what he said to me was, we can't go out like that. You know, I don't think he enjoys losing to Boston in 5 games, and I don't imagine, of all people, Pat Riley enjoys losing to Boston in the manner that they did. So what I make of it is just kind of a lingering frustration of how this whole year went.
I do think it's kind of funny the way that a lot of media that isn't around the Heat often has perceived what Riley said
They
and
act
the
like he doesn't do this every
Not only does
season.
he do it every postseason, but
he does
also,
it privately too.
Well, he does it privately, he does it publicly, and particularly with Jimmy Butler. The thing that Jimmy has said that he loves about the Miami Heat is that Spo and Riley are as insane and competitive as he is. This is nothing new from year to year.
Remember when they had the big argument in 22 on the court and Spoelstra said to him, I knew you were a crazy mother effer. As they're being separated, you know?
Exactly.
Like, unless you're super sensitive, you're going to come back and you're going to take it as a challenge.
He told Goran Dragic that he sucked right after he traded for him.
Like, Jimmy loves... I think the parts that he didn't like about being in Minnesota was the rest of the team was soft. Like, he was the
LeBron
only
did
one who
not
was
take it
crazy
as a
person.
challenge. LeBron left.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
He's a
right.
different guy than
That's
Jimmy.
right. He was sensitive about it.
Yes.
And Jimmy, I think, I think he likes the confrontation. I think he likes the uneasiness that can be that could surround this situation. We've seen it. Like, I think he respects it. I think he respects it.
I would argue that most athletes, when they end up in other environments, are a bit surprised about how brittle people are to correction, to criticism, to confrontation. Those 3 things, I think every time I talk to athletes about them entering new workspaces, they think everyone's soft because the language is aggressive, and Ray Allen and others have said of the Heat, just don't be in your feelings. Your feelings don't matter on anything. You care deeply about playing basketball 20 years of your life, and now Spo says you get 6 minutes tonight. Don't get in your feelings about it. He's got to make difficult decisions about who gets to play and who doesn't get to play. The thing that I will tell you, though, that you might be underestimating, even if that confrontation is private, is the combination of, now we're talking about money. People are bargaining privately and publicly about what he's worth in his old age, and he is a proud man. And you've just escalated a furnace of conversation around him and his money and told him to shut his mouth. Saying that privately and saying that publicly are two different things. Just because the circumstances have changed. Now we're arguing and negotiating about money. It's not, I'm already under contract, I'm secure here, and I know what my finances are guaranteed. I'm telling you that extra step, if you guys are telling me that Jimmy's good with that, I'm telling you that people can get into their feelings when it's not the huddle, and now we're at the bank deposits.
But you think Jimmy's hurt? Because I'm kind of with Zaslow. I think he thrives
I'm just saying
this.
It can be received differently by a proud adult male once you're now making the business in public, and that business in public has some things that can be turned into, can turn into public criticism and negotiating and disrespect if you are in your feelings. You know how people say all the time in sports, they say, it's not personal. It's not personal. It's just business. And all the time I see people get their feelings hurt because two people have different definitions of what personal feels like when there's money involved.
Listen, that's totally fair. And obviously, look, I was with Jimmy before these comments happened. I can't personally imagine.
Speak for him, Rohan.
Yes. I personally just can't imagine that they would make him do a total 180. You know, I've seen some people speculate, he's going to demand a trade and things like that. I would be completely floored if something like that were to happen as a result of this. I also personally think that, look, it's like you guys have mentioned, it's not the first time Pat Riley has used that end-of-year press conference to send a message to his players in a very public fashion, and he kind of does it in a way when he knows they're going out the door. I think that's been, and you could say, a hallmark of his career in some ways, challenging people publicly. I do also think, I want to put this out there, I think it would be crazy for them not to extend Jimmy Butler. I think people have already very quickly forgotten where this franchise was in the 3 or 4 years before he got there, that in-between period between LeBron and him leaving versus what happened before Jimmy Butler got there. I tried to ask Pat Riley about that. I tried to ask him, I was like, do you think you guys exceeded your expectations, Jimmy Butler? I asked him this last August, and I don't think he's willing to go that far because he has high expectations for Jimmy. He said that's what happens when you sign a star player, but I would argue that no superstar, quote unquote, in the NBA has done more with less than Jimmy Butler has in the last 5 years. And there's always conversation about, do we extend him? When I look at the rest of the East, that has upgraded significantly in the last few years, and it feels like the Heat have not done that for Jimmy, despite how far he's taken them.
I think Jimmy and this Heat team has maxed out. I think it's okay if the Heat move on from Jimmy Butler. I'm good with that, and I think Riley's good with that. Do you?
Another reason why I'm skeptical of that is Riley knows that this is a star-driven league, and I think he at the end of the day knows what it was like when they didn't have a star. I mean, he told Dan about what it was like when Hassan Whiteside and Dion Waiters were the team leaders, and you saw how if he thinks he's frustrated now, you can all remember how frustrated he was then. There are very few players in the NBA that move the needle. Very few. Jimmy Butler's proven now in multiple playoffs that he can be a guy who moves the needle. And if you have that player, and Pat Riley's shown in his history as an executive, a coach, he does whatever he can to hold on to that player for as long as possible.
Riley indeed called Jimmy Butler the biggest needle mover on the team. But, I mean, to Rohan's point, do you know who was there during that in-between period?
Rodney.
Can we get some information on where this needle is? Give me the needle. The needle that gets moved is where? Which needle do you think of when they're?
It's like a meter.
It's a sound.
Right?
It's a sound needle.
It's like the New York Times election meter. Yeah.
Like a gas meter. It's like empty, full.
It's not a Richter scale. What are we all imagining
like this,
the
though,
same?
Dan.
But are we all imagining the same needle? Are all of us visually? All of us.
It's a semicircle and it's moving left to right.
So like on the far far left is like there's no fans coming to the game, and then the needle moves, and it's like the fans are there, they're 30 minutes late, and
It's
they're
more like
leaving
the sound
10 minutes
meter.
early.
You know when you're like, all right, let's go, clap your hands, and
that thing goes up regardless.
Yeah, it's not very accurate.
It does. But this thing that we're all imagining that is the same instrument, does it have a name for all of us? Does it look the same? Is it the same color? This needle that you have Jimmy Butler moving, it's when you say it's a gas tank, is that we're all imagining the same needle? And I'm asking you again, that particular needle we're imagining, what does that actually measure?
I think it measures, can this team actually win a championship? At the end of the day.
I mean the actual instrument.
I mean, championship needle.
I like yours better, I think. But see, for you, it's a championship needle. Can it get all the way over into the red where the champion? It's gotten
been so close.
It's gotten very close. It's gone very close, but it hasn't gotten there.
Correct, and it was nowhere close when Hassan Whiteside was like the highest paid player on the Heat. That was the needle was like defunct. It was,
that's
it
where the
to be
Marlins
revived.
needle is
Right,
now.
but you want the needle to move a little bit more, all the way to full, and Jimmy can't get there.
I think, but you could argue that he could get there with the proper pieces around him. I think would be my argument.
But wouldn't one of them have to be better than he is? Is it the proper pieces, or is it a proper piece brought in and, hey, Donovan Mitchell, you got to be better than Jimmy, or whoever the proper piece is, we need you to be better than Jimmy, because this decline is going to have fewer free throws and more three-point attempts, because that's how players age, and he's entering a dangerous age.
I agree the window is short, okay? We can all agree the window is short. The history is not kind to players over 35. Does that player need to be better than Jimmy Butler? I'm not totally sure. I think they have to be the perfect fit, and that's not easy. But you look around the NBA right now, like if you gave Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, and it pains me to say this, if you gave Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo Derek White, Drew Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis, I think Eric Spoelstra could coach that team to 65 wins, and they'd be a title favorite. If you gave them Jaden McDaniels, Mike Conley, and Karl Anthony Towns, I think you're looking at a team that wins 65 games and can compete for a championship. Those aren't your conventional stars. I wouldn't say any of those guys individually are better than Jimmy Butler, but what they are perfect fits that amplify what your best players do.
But if it's a small window, why extend him? When you don't have to, you've already extended him. You don't have to extend him.
Listen, you don't have to extend him. That's just how this works, okay? We can, to Dan's point, we can say it's a business.
What happened to the contract?
That is just how this works, okay? That's how this works. That's why Kobe gets a sweetheart deal at the end of his Lakers tenure. That's why LeBron is going to get a contract until he's 42 years old.
That's why Kirk Cousins got $100 million.
It's why Kirk Cousins got $100 million.
He's a good quarterback. Hold on.
Yeah. You extend
Jimmy
him.
Butler's a good basketball player.
You extend him because you know the alternative is Hassan Whiteside.
I really would like to get to the point where our video elements work so well with our staff that at some point while Rohan was talking, we panned slowly over to Jeremy, and he's like the coach no one can understand in Waterboy in the stands, shirtless and rubbing his nipples
love him,
with
Dan.
his hands. Like
I love him.
I saw that look on your face. I looked at your face, and what I saw was you shirtless pawing at your chest because you were so happy with every syllable he uttered.
Yeah, I fell in love as that happened.
Both of you go sit in the penalty box.
I think I just became a
Both
Heat
of
fan,
you.
too.
Rohan,
I'm going, too.
You're all of you out of here.
Finally! Rohan! Someone's a guest!
All of you out of here.
I drove all the way from
Panthers.
Broward.
Wow.
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is sponsored by BetterHelp. We all carry around different stressors, big and small. When we keep them bottled up, it can start to affect us negatively. Keeping things bottled up can feel like carrying a weight that gets heavier with time. Whether it's talking to a trusted friend, journaling, or seeking professional help, finding ways to let out your thoughts and feelings can bring relief and help you navigate challenges more effectively. Remember, it's okay to reach out for help when you need it. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/DLB today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DLB.
Dan Le Batard.
Teammates can't shoot from three. Now they're gonna see a different Jimmy. Now he's just just playing Nickelback in the locker room, and
Stugotz.
they'll play D and shoot threes as they chase the Nets for the 6th seed. These 5 words in his head scream, are we winning games yet?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
That's right. It's time for Thursday Thunder. That's right. And it is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about what DraftKings has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Tony, what do we got today?
This is cooked up by the one and only Juju Gotti. This is a deep cut Thursday Thunder, ladies and gentlemen.
Deep
cut. We're not going to have big names here. We're not going to have big stat lines here. We're going to go in deep cut. Juju's been in the lab cooking up.
You mentioned deep cut. You mentioned that he's been working.
Because you're going to say
it, re-emphasize
because I'm going to say the names. It cuts deep. I'm going to say the names. You're going to be like, who are those guys?
Juju, unlike against the spread,
oh Lord,
which is terrible because you guys just go off the top of your head. Juju is pouring over numbers, trying to find inefficiencies and trying to give you a smart bet because he makes he feels very bad when he loses people money. So he's legitimately trying.
All right, we're going to start in the Cavs versus Celtics game tonight at 7:05. Luke Cornett over rebounds 5.5.
What?
I want to place the bet where it's Luke Cornett over under times he does the thing where he just jumps up from 15 feet away to try and distract the shooter.
It looks like
corner.
NBA 2K when you hit the wrong button.
It's so stupid.
Second leg.
Get a hand in his face from 40 feet away.
Vegas has him for 16 over under there on the jumps.
Of the jumping?
Yeah, of the jumps, yeah. Second leg. Over 0.5 threes for Josh Green. All we need is one.
Just one. He's just going to take one. I don't know about I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you are still thrilled by the way basketball is played these days. But watching Indiana and New York just sort of swing it and get wide open threes all game, no matter where the defense is, it's still confusing to me to watch basketball played that way.
Last leg of the parlay. Over 6.5 points for Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So again,
I like that.
Over 5.5 rebounds for Luke Cornett. Over 0.5 threes for Josh Green. Over 6.5 points for Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Deep cut.
Deep cut, buddy.
Did you guys have any reaction to the news that Max and Disney Plus and Hulu are merging so that your future has something that, again, looks like cable in it as we move away from cable? Did anyone have any thoughts there? Because my only initial thought was a totally narcissistic one, which was we did everything we did so that, again, on Max, now we can be with Disney. How did all of that get maneuvered around?
Full circle.
How did that get maneuvered around so that now I am a Disney and we are Disney employee adjacent?
Do we get park vouchers now?
Yeah.
Do we get to
Wow.
take those?
Yes!
I never got those. That'd be awesome.
Many years ago, many years ago, this is a true story, the people who invented Pardon the Interruption came down to see what it is that a young, hungry and ambitious Stugotz and I were doing at the start of the radio station, and they were thinking about how to televise on Disney what it is that we were doing. And they spent about 40 minutes around our show, during which Stugotz and I were talking to Jim Brown about having tried to make an ex-girlfriend jealous by posing in Playgirl. And they packed up their stuff and left and said that they would not be televising what it is we do.
I'll take it one step further. Eric Rideholm was one of those two people that were in the room. He fell asleep inside of 12 minutes. I mean, and I was offended. I have to be honest with you.
Well, he was offended by you, and that's part of the true story, which is during that show, in the hallway, as they packed up their stuff to leave, they stopped me, and having seen Stugotz's behavior, again, the most hustling, ambitious, and hungry of Stugotzes, they said to me, both of the people who were there, oh my God, he's real. It's not that he's playing a character. That's a real thing. The only reason I bring this up is This has been the response to Zaslow during our shows, where when he talks the way that he talks and people wonder, is he playing a character? No, he is not. Nope. That is who he is, learning in this market from people like Stugotz and Bugshambi on how to do this. Just throw your maximum vulnerabilities in the air and be who he is. This is not false. This is a real thing that is in front of us today, and for some reason, he wants to fight the Boston Bruins. It's asinine. He's an adult with kids who are close to grown up, and he wants to fight. He thinks it's smart to look into a camera and fight Boston Bruins.
If you're not from Boston, let's be honest, who doesn't want to fight someone from Boston?
It's my favorite
no
part
one
of
likes
these games
anyone from
now
Boston. Yeah.
Is my behavior during these playoff games in front of my kids. It's it's the best part of this experience for me. There are two different types of sports fans. When you're a sports fan growing up and you take it serious, and you're a sports fan as an adult with kids and you take it serious. It's a completely different experience. And that's why, last postseason, and now hopefully this one as well, have been so magical, because it is a completely brand new experience. And I love I already told you it's my drugs, my anxiety during these games.
But drugs you take with your kids.
Oh, yes. I pump. I go, get in here. The game is starting. And my kids come in the room last night. I go, all right, everybody, this is a serious room right now. I announce it right before they're going to drop the ropes.
Come take drugs with daddy, kids. Come on.
Everybody put their phones down. This is a serious room. This is a serious room.
Teaching them, yes.
Yeah.
Your kids are going to remember this for the rest of their lives, by the way, because my strongest memories of my dad growing up was reacting to the Bush push, reacting to the Steve Bartman catch, reacting to the time that USC scored I think it was a punt return kickoff return or whatever for a touchdown, and he threw a Christmas ornament at the TV. I was 30 years old. Those are the memories that you will always remember.
I love it.
As a kid.
I love
the
it.
traumatizing moments your dad screams at the TV.
The happiest I have ever seen my father was in 1986 in tighty whities, dancing around the living room because that baseball went through the legs of Bill Buckner.
Oh, what a great time. I mean,
it was joyous. My father doesn't really do joy. And again, he was sort of a bearskin rug of body hair and tighty whities. Mm-hmm. And he was dancing around in the living room because the things that you pass down to your family, Chris Cody is here, and all of his Dolphin allegiances come down like an heirloom through his family, because his mom's crazier than his dad is about the Dolphins, and his dad is one of the biggest homers in the history of the media.
All true.
No lies, and no lies told here.
What's more fun, to see your dad have joy over his favorite sports team winning, or to see your dad have misery over his favorite sports team losing? Because I, too, was at the 86 World Series with my dad. He cracked open a bottle of champagne because at that time, you could bring anything into a stadium. You could bring anything anywhere. You could smoke on an airplane, okay?
What?
You could.
You didn't know that? No, I knew that. I'm saying you brought a bottle of champagne into the stadium?
My dad did, yeah. And he opened it to celebrate the Red Sox finally winning a World Series. And then the ball went through the legs.
I'll do you one better.
It's your dad's fault.
You can smoke on an airplane. Do you realize that at one point in America, you'd get on an airplane and somebody would be serving prime rib? That was a thing back before peanuts and small seats. Like
back in Coach.
It would be. I don't know if it would be in Coach. I can't say to have witnessed this. I've just read the history of the airlines. I've never seen prime rib being cut on an airplane.
I was watching an old Seinfeld episode where Jerry was in first class and Elaine was in coach, and Jerry was getting served a chocolate sundae in first class sitting next to a model, and I was like, man, do people in Dan, do you still get sundaes in first class? I know you got beans on the way home from Vegas.
No, it really does depend the first class you're doing. Like American Airlines first class and stuff, all you're getting that's better is that you get your seats a little bit bigger, and you get the people, the bathroom experience is slightly less horrible because 10 people are using the bathroom as opposed to 100 people. Right? And still the 100 are coming in from the back and using it anyway. But
you get mad at that, don't you?
The longer the flights, I don't get mad at that because I'm trying not to go anywhere in that bathroom.
Do they still have the curtain curtain separating.
They do have a curtain, yeah.
Yes, a curtain of classism. Yes, a curtain.
right.
It's
I like
beaded, so you can see through it. You're like, I see Dan right there. Look at him.
I see Dan flagging down the flight attendant like, they're not supposed to be up here.
Yeah, he does that.
Is this vegan?
The longer the flight and the better the first class, you can get some very good amenities. But again, not prime rib. And I wonder who in our audience doesn't know that there was a time that you could smoke on airplanes, because I've been on a plane recently where I saw the old ashtray and I'm like, this is an old ass plane, where the ashtray is on my armrest. And I'm like, good God, this thing's been feeding cancer for 50 years right here.
So tempting.
As a kid, it was always a thing for me. We would be able to knock on the cockpit door in flight. They open up the door, you come, you sit down with the pilot.
They're arrested for that.
They give you a pin, an eagle pin.
Were you on the
I'm practically flying the plane.
Seriously.
You and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Hey.
I don't remember a time when you can do that. I don't remember getting in there and getting in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you walk in with your family. Your dad says, "Hey, can my son come in?" Yeah, you get a little pin. Yeah, pilot pin.
Of course.
Yeah, it's great.
When did they stop that?
I'm guessing 9/11.
Might have been 9/11.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I might have been a long time before 9/11.
The world changed that day, Dano.
Yeah, thank you. Certainly, flight did. Yeah. Thank you, Stugotz, for all your sociological observations. They're historic and enduring.
Yes, I was giving you an answer. 9/11.
Yeah, the world changed that day.
Airplane. What a movie.
Great movie.
Excellent movie.
Great flick.
Does it hold up?
I watched it recently. I mean, there's certainly jokes that I don't think would be in a modern iteration, but, you know.
Oh, for sure.
Some of it's still really funny.
Of course, for sure. But jokes per minute, that movie holds the record, does it not? It is.
Yeah. Feels like
there have never, in the history of movies, I don't believe, on average, we've done statistical numbers on the Rambo movies, deaths and violence and how historic they are in terms of bloody. Airplane has to be more jokes per second than any movie in the history of movies.
When they go, do you want smoking or non-smoking? He says smoking and the ticket's on fire. It's great. It's amazing.
Surely it is one of the greatest
It is, and don't call me Shirley.
Of all time.
Hey!
Thank you, Tony.
Good job.
Alley-oop there.
You guys are just like Shaq and Barkley.
Dan, Forbes backs you up. Top 10 funniest movies ever per laugh per minute. Wow. Airplane, number one.
Number one of all time.
Hangover, number two.
What a stat.
I gotta think that most movies from the 1970s that are comedy, no way anyone in our audience
Get me Rex Kramer.
Stugotz here for my friends over at Simply Safe. When you travel, do concerns back home nag you? Did you lock up? Did you leave a window open? That's why I recommend investing in Simply Safe Home Security today for award-winning security and peace of mind wherever your summer plans take you. I've had Simply Safe in my home for many years now. The peace of mind it gives me, especially during the summertime when I'm all over the place, is incredible. Because I know the things I care about, the things I value back home. I can always keep an eye on it using Simply Safe's indoor and outdoor cameras. So do me a favor. Before you head out on your next vacation, make sure to protect your whole home with Simply Safe's variety of indoor and outdoor cameras, plus add sensors to detect break-ins, fires, floods, and more. It's backed by 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day, no contracts to worry about, and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Simply Safe has given me and many of my listeners real peace of mind. I want you to have it too. So right now, get 20% off any new Simply Safe system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.